Well, hello everybody. Today you'll enjoy insights, research, expert discussion on how organizations can achieve growth in today's competitive landscape by driving sustainable change across operations, across CX, across corporate culture, and in sales as well. As you look to the future of your business, whether that's in retail, whether that's in consumer goods, we have identified the opportunities necessary to successfully implement transformative, innovative strategies. We're excited to share them with you today. And this webinar is presented to you today with our friends at Profit. And we're happy to have you here today. And if you're joining live, we'd love to connect with you using the chat feature, whether you chat amongst yourselves, chat with the PSFK team, or chat with the expert speakers that we have. And talking about experts, we're happy to have them join us today. They've been specifically curated to help build the discussion and help us understand retail transformation through innovation. So who have we got? Well, we have Myron Washington. He's the COO and General Manager at the Home Depot. We've got Jen Mullen. She's Vice President and Head of Stores at Banana Republic. We have Peter Stubbs, who is a partner at Profit. And we also have Aviva Trop. She's an associate partner at Profit as well. And we also have, joining me as usual, Lauren Lyons, Senior Strategist at PSFK. And now's the time to turn to Lauren. And Lauren's going to help us set a framework and help us understand the context when it comes to retail transformation through innovation. Hi, Lauren. How are you?
Hello, Piers. Great. Happy to be here. Yep. Excited.
Great. Excited too. So we have this new report, Retail Transformation Through Innovation. Looking forward to kind of hearing about it and what the content is.
Excellent. So just to kick us off here, maybe set some groundwork. We've partnered over at PSFK, we've partnered with Profit to identify a number of trends that are really driving retail transformation today. And today we're going to lead you through those insights and kind of just to like set the overall landscape for this presentation. We look at how, online shoppers today, they're looking at on-demand services, inventory transparency, curated recommendations, mobile experiences, flexible delivery. Those are all table stakes, right? And as they're coming back into stores, even more so, they're really expecting those same online experiences to manifest in the store as well. Alongside these immersive moments, moments of entertainment, and then also, that personalization and hyper convenience. And so as we looked at how retailers can really drive growth within today's very competitive marketplace, we really saw how retailers need to not only exceed consumers' expectations, but also implement these long-term sustainable strategies. And we're seeing a lot of companies, across retail sectors doing so. Retailers are shifting their entire business model to embrace more purpose-driven initiatives that support both that social impact goals as much as the company's bottom line. And also, kind of underpinning all of these strategies is a wealth of consumer data, right? And that's being further explored for these meaningful connections by using everything from AI to machine learning. And going forward, we really see retail transformation advancing through both test and learn, iterations, as well as smart data application, personalized services, and then also, that digital transformation technology, all through this lens of community and support. And so to kind of kick us off here and provide you with more background on how we see retail transformation being driven today, we're looking at the many roles of data and how those are laying the foundation for transformational retail. And so thinking about everything from connected profiles, data-informed design, intelligent inventory, and it's by really layering AI and machine learning across these connected data streams, that we're seeing how retailers are optimizing their services, driving operational excellence, across their production systems, their digital platforms, and their physical footprints, right? And so 93% of retailers are expecting to see an increase in the use of consumers using mobile devices in the store. And this is by 2025. I think we're well on our way there. And then further, 83% of retailers anticipate this increased amount of technology deployed in stores. And so that's kind of one way we're seeing transformation right now, right? And what's driving that in the future. Another thing here is we're looking at how retailers are connecting and engaging with their consumers, becoming more specific, more relevant. And so retailers are really leveraging new technology and models to speak, listen, market to consumers in a very much more personalized way. 54% of global consumers are willing to share their personal details, but they're only willing to do that in return for those personalized offers. 51% are looking for beneficial recommendations. So going from, mass reach out to really customized and niche here. And then building on that, when we consider omnichannel, this has come to now include, not only an exceptional store and online experience, but there's also new virtual immersive worlds coming together now as well. And we're seeing retailers really evolving that omnichannel experience for today's hyper-connected consumer. And they're designing models that tap into virtual selling and also provide, an expanded service offering. And here we're looking at how, 69% of consumers are willing to pay for one or more value add service, but they're looking for those services that really elevate the experience here. And then finally, this is one of our last overarching themes that we're seeing as retail transformation drivers. For retailers and brands that are setting the bar on excellence concerning the consumer experience, ESG is not only a goal, but it's really a lens through which their business is being driven. And so we're seeing how retailers are really centering that purpose-led strategy across their organization. They're driving measurable impact, and they're tying their ESG initiatives to their operations, to their culture, to the product offering. And so when we look at consumers, 82% recognize that sustainability is linked to other problems that we're facing right now, like poverty, equality, and social justice. So this is definitely something that's on their minds as we go forward into the rest of this report. And so here I wanted to just take a beat and talk through what the rest of this presentation is going to contain. And so here we've highlighted 6 themes that are driving this retail transformation today, right, and tomorrow. And then within each theme, we've highlighted 2 different trends. Each of these trends are going to be supported by an example of innovation in the marketplace. And we hope that these are all helpful as you lay the groundwork for your own experiences going forward too.
That's great. I'm looking forward to it.
So kicking us off with our first theme here, connecting data and consumer insights. And for this, we're looking at how facing, increased competition for consumers' loyalty, retailers are definitely leaning into more personalized product experiences. And this is happening both in real life and across digital touch points. As we approach this cookie-less world, the role of a first-party, customer data is playing an increasingly important part, right? Retailers are leveraging direct insights from consumers' feedback, their preferences, their shopper history, and more to inform everything from localized product design to be, further customize how they connect with shoppers, to build digital profiles, and to also optimize that physical store experience as well. And so when we dive into here, one of our first trends here is what we're calling data-informed design. And so to better meet, consumer needs, brands and retailers are taking all of this aggregated information about consumers and their buying behaviors, and they're using that to inform the product design. And so by collecting this consumer feedback through technology to inform the product development process, we're seeing how retailers are better positioned to accommodate consumers' lifestyles and preferences, but they're also learning how best to achieve the best designed product that resonates with consumers on a deeper level and has that, buy-in before production, right? And so a great example of how this is coming to life right now in the marketplace is from Shein, and their consumer to manufacturer AI program matches local demand at scale. And so online fast fashion retailer, they're using automated AI to not only inform product ideas, but to also track real-time success of each item across its entire website. And they're adding between 700 to 1,000 new items daily. So using this consumer to manufacturer process, the AI is able to surface product ideas from search and social behaviors of consumers, within a specific company or country. And these ideas are then transferred to Shein's designers before being automatically pushed to suppliers through what Shein calls their planning software to be manufactured. And then everything is sold in limited volumes. Once specific products prove to be popular based on, viewing and buying behavior, order volumes for manufacturers are actually increased in real time. And so tracking those local fashion tastes in real time, this fast fashion retailer is actually able to create, a different relevant offering for over like 220 countries, I think it is, that they operate in around the world. And so next up, we have connected profiles. And so within today's, hyper omni landscape, connected profiles follow consumers as they navigate from online to the store to an app and all the way back around. So they're allowing for personalization, no matter the channel or location that a consumer is using. And shoppers have really already become accustomed to using their mobile devices when shopping in store, to access everything from more product information to specific content. And to really lean into these behaviors, retailers are providing more dynamic physical shopping experiences by layering responsive activations into their sales floor. They're providing, in-store associates with access to consumers' preferences. And they're also connecting everything from, mobile wish lists to saved consumer profiles to their in-store inventory. And so an example of how we're seeing this come to life right now is McDonald's hyper-personalized drive-through menu, which is using license plate technology to detect customers as they come up and through the drive-through. So leveraging its partnership with IBM, as well as the McD Tech Labs, McDonald's is continuing to deliver really an increasingly personalized ordering experience. And so within select drive-through lanes across Chicago right now, this McDonald's is testing what they're calling dynamic menu boards, and they are able to recognize license plates, serve up each customer's favorites and recommendations based on their past orders. And so beyond the drive-through, McDonald's is also taking their automated order technology even further. They're folding that into their delivery systems and their digital channel experiences as well.
Thanks, Lauren. Maybe it's time we talk to some of the experts we have on the call today. We're lucky enough to have Myron Washington from Home Depot. Hey, Myron, how are you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me today, Pierce.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Would love to kind of get some perspective, and maybe we can start off by just kind of asking you how retailers and brands should be thinking about the role of data within their organization today. How do you see the role of data changing over time?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, and I think most retailers, data is foundational to organizational success. Kind of without data, it would be like navigating uncharted waters without a compass in the dark of night. Okay, I'm perhaps embellishing a bit to create an appropriate visual and sensory reaction, but in all seriousness, data inclusive of AI and machine learning is the connective tissue that drives organizational imperatives, whether that's improving the customer experience, driving personalization, omni-channel, or enabling operational efficiencies. Data is the lead actor.
So it sounds like you've got to get data right from the get-go.
Absolutely, right. And what we're seeing, like I take, kind of my current organization as an example, we're thinking through intelligent data connections. That is combining what I know about you with consumer insight. And in doing so, it drives personalized product experiences across both physical and digital customer touchpoints. And the goodness that comes from these sort of intelligent data connections is really a tailored to me shopping journey.
That's super interesting. Thank you.
Okay, so great to hear all of those great insights. And to kind of round that out, we have a few implications and imperatives for the audience. So first up, define what you have and what you need. And by this, we mean assess where the data lives today and your current data and analytics capabilities. That's really step one, identifying data gaps and shape plans to address them. Engage experts for guidance on that most effective system, tools, or processes. Building on that, we're saying, expand your data horizons, diversify and integrate data sources to really generate those real-time insights that optimize your assortments, inform experience design, and really accelerate new product development as well. Further, we're looking at how you can prepare for life without cookies. We know that that's really coming. It's on its way. So give consumers compelling reasons to share their data. Do this by actually providing clear value exchange as well as transparency, so they're opting in enthusiastic, right? Promoting data transparency, privacy, security will definitely be a way for retailers to build trust in this way. And that's going to be huge as we move away from cookies, we know. And so finally, use data across the business, model how data can and should be used across your organization, engage senior leadership to drive that transformation, and then also see how you can leverage these new insights to increase, your supply chain agility, enhance convenience by giving consumers that real-time access to product delivery status, and then also to in-store inventory. And so rolling through here, we have our next theme, which is optimized operations. And so in an omni-channel commerce landscape, retail organizations really need to maximize their operational efficiencies, really in order to deliver on that increased customer expectation for experience, convenience, and then also best price. And so as more shoppers really shift to this hybrid model of shopping, companies are finding that existing physical stores and logistics networks can become really competitive advantages, and they're helping them to get closer to their consumers while also enabling them to develop test services before they actually scale them. And so a trend here we're identifying as intelligent inventory. And what we mean here is really to, meet consumers' expectations for that rapid fulfillment and inventory accessibility, improve that operational efficiency, and further support, your own associates. Organizations are leveraging physical retail locations as a way to trial new processes, trial this automated technology and solutions, and then, also tools that are designed to improve the overall retail experience. And so serving both online and physical customer needs. These hybrid locations are leveraging everything from, dark store strategies to streamlined buy online, pick up in store technologies. All of this really to transform that last mile experience. And so a great example of how we see this coming to life right now is from Target. Thanks to investments that they've been making to their physical footprint over the past few years, they've been turning their stores into fulfillment hubs for online orders. And right now, more than half of Target's online sales are actually coming from its same-day services. And that's everything from drive up, curbside pickup, order pickup, and then shipped as well. And so now the company is exploring, additional strategies to drive their business and further connect the online and offline fulfillment stages for consumers. And, this is kind of with good reason. Customers who are shopping across Target stores and websites actually spend 4 times as much as those who only shop at its stores. So this has an impact. And so this fall, customers at select stores are going to be able to pick up a Starbucks order, make a return, and they're going to be able to do all of this without having to leave their car. And so additionally, one more thing here from Target is the retailer is really continue to improve on its in-store pickup experience. And it's now allowing shoppers using its shipped feature to designate family members or friends to pick up their orders, or else select, preferred substitutions for items if they're out of stock. So being able to quickly facilitate those needs as well. And our next trend we have up is called shared resources. So alongside today's digital acceleration, consumer expectations for a diverse and rapid delivery solution, real-time availability. This has really placed a pretty big strain on companies' existing operational capabilities. And for retailers that lack, that necessary operational network to meet these expectations, this can create a really frustrating online or delivery experience for shoppers. And this can lead to the cart abandonment, lost dollars, and really to kind of connect consumers to orders in a more timely manner. A lot of small, mid, and even large scale retailers are now partnering with other organizations, from big box retailers to e-com giants and transportation companies, that are leveraging their own networks and sharing these resources. And so one way we're seeing this come to life is through the delivery as a service program from Walmart Go Local. And so home improvement retailer Home Depot is actually partnering with Walmart to partake in this service by utilizing Walmart's operational network. Home Depot is now going to be able to provide their customers with a wider selection of delivery options with same day, next day delivery guarantees. And so for Home Depot customers, shopping online for select items such as different tools, paints, and anything else that can easily fit in a car, they're not going to be able to have that ability to select Go Local delivery when they go to checkout.
Maybe we can build on that. So we can ask Peter at Profit to build on that. Peter, but how do you see the role of data changing in the near term, even far into the future?
Well, we're going to keep getting more and more of it. So we can't stop those investments in really getting those big systems and platforms in place. And, although it's great to do this shorter tactical stuff to prove its benefits at the moment, we've really, organizations, if they haven't done so now, have to get an enterprise-wide data strategy in place to plan for the future, because we're now seeing really exciting opportunities where you join up supply chain data, where products are being made and manufactured and their source, and tying that up with customer preferences and distribution channels, which is kind of super exciting. But if you haven't kind of got your data strategy that's not just sitting in marketing or not just sitting in operations, but actually joined up across the enterprise, you're just going to get yourself more and more in knots in the long term.
Okay, that's great. Lauren, maybe you can talk about some of the implications for this optimized operations section.
Absolutely. So first up, we're looking at how to break down barriers between physical and online businesses, assess logistics networks, devise strategies that really optimize that omni-channel world, right? The B2B fulfillment partners, that dark store strategy. Building on that, looking at how to embrace the test and learn approach, right? So capture measurable data from, pilots and prototypes to inform those future decision making in an ongoing test and learn cycle. And then also, just to round this out, evaluate platformization of distribution, considering your partnering options for logistics for everything from checkout to shipping and returns.
Okay, let's move on to the next section.
All right. So next up, we have what we're calling intelligent guidance and support. And here we're looking at how, regardless of how and where they choose to shop right now, consumers increasingly expect that personalized experience, right? Which can include selection, recommendation, relevance, and then control over the end-to-end experience. So to match these needs, we're seeing how retail leaders are really adopting leading technologies, intelligent solutions to not only surface relevant recommendations in real time, but then provide a personalized, autonomous assistance throughout their entire journey. And so first up, we have what we're calling contextual search. And so here we're looking at how sophisticated AI is powering this new era of image recognition technology, as well as guided selection systems. And so by combining external data input from consumers, right, images, facial or body scans that they might submit to you, personal preferences and needs with this natural language processing and visual search capabilities. Retailers are not only better able to understand exactly what shoppers' intent is when they're researching, but also provide more accurate and specific results in real time for them. And so by connecting these search insights to CRM systems or internal databases, and then applying machine learning, retailers will be able to continuously tailor their promotions, curate those recommendations, and then also anticipate these consumer needs while, simultaneously identifying their gaps, the hero products, and then the necessary iterations based on what consumers are searching and then their demonstrated needs. And bringing this to life in an interesting way right now is Clinique and their analysis tool. So to provide greater one-to-one personalization, Clinique is connecting what it's calling its Clinique reality tool, right? It's connecting its hydration and analysis technology to its CRM platform. And so this tool uses computer vision and AI to scan a user's face using micro textures and skin surface topography to identify things like dryness. Based on the results from the scan, the brand then is able to surface personalized product recommendations for consumers on its site. It's able to adjust future marketing and messaging for the consumer. And then it's also able to create more targeted recommendations going forward based on these specific skin concerns. And then for next trend here, we're talking personal shopping bots. And so what do we mean here? Consumers are increasingly seeking personalized assistance and to fill in the moment tasks, specific needs, right? Digital shopping assistants, both mobile and desktop browsers, and AI-enabled personal shopping services are really simplifying this consumer journey. They're eliminating the need to use multiple apps and websites. And in the context of shopping, this could mean working, on behalf of a shopper to fill specific needs like the regular or repeat purchasing of common products, helping to find and buy products based on a set of criteria like sizing or pricing as well. And so an interesting example here is coming from this Belgian app called Pretzel, which is acting as a universal catalog and facilitates both purchases and returns for consumers. And so it's eliminating the need for multiple tabs, carts, and checkout experiences by helping shoppers to use the mobile app Pretzel, where they can connect their accounts with major retailers like the Targets, the Amazons, and the Walmarts all in one place. They're able to save items to their wish lists, and then they're able to easily check out. And so after using the Save to Pretzel feature when browsing on the internet, customers can easily add their items to their secure Pretzel account from anywhere. And then post-purchase, the app then monitors, return windows for consumers for each item, and it sends alerts automatically for anything that is approaching the end of its return window.
So, Myron, maybe I can turn to you at this stage and ask you about kind of this evolution of omnichannel, digital shopping, social commerce, and more. Kind of what new platforms, technology are you seeing are important to retailers so they can kind of meet consumers' expectations today and tomorrow?
Yeah, I think a few technologies are emerging, right? The rise of intelligent guidance and support. And so regardless of how customers are choosing to shop, whether that's online or in store, what we're seeing is increased sort of personalized experiences, right? And those experiences requires the need for a recommendation, relevance, and control of other interactions with an organization. And so what we're seeing in terms of, for example, AI, really powering new modes of engaging with the consumer. For example, search, using images or facial and body scans to drive that sort of personalized sort of preference. Using natural language processing helps with that sort of visual search experience and discovery, totally changing the game in terms of how retailers can interact with their customers. Another example of this is you think about a drive-through and fast food restaurants using AI to read a license plate to create a customized menu based on your preferences and your favorites as you come up to the window. Those type of experiences are becoming more pervasive.
Yeah, and obviously it's interesting and probably challenging for the organization to kind of think about that full 360 view of the customer data and what to do with it. There's a lot of things you just talked about in terms of the opportunities and the challenges.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And to a certain extent, it's not greenfield territory, but it's certainly new territory and somewhat uncharted. The good thing is that there's plenty of technologies and solutions in the market to help retailers think about this next chapter of engaging with their customers.
That's great. I think we all agree there were some great insights there, especially when it comes to this section around intelligent guidance and support. Laura, maybe we can jump back to you and you can tell us a little bit about implications and what imperatives, what actions we can take on this section.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, to lead off on actions right now retailers can take, think like your shoppers, map how customers interact with you, and crucially, how they don't today, but might want to tomorrow. Unleash the tech, choose whether to buy, build, or partner for these high priority capabilities, and everything from data science to engineering and analytics. Shape the long-term data strategy that you're going to deploy, right? Define the value exchange for consumers' data. Build a roadmap that will help you to achieve real-time 360-degree views, building and starting small and then building as you go. And then also really start by optimizing the data that you have now, right? This idea of linking inventory, shipping, pricing, sales, anything from social data streams to all really enable that real-time communication across all of your channels and formats. Enhance personalization capabilities by syncing that shopper profile with your CRM profile or platform or data cloud. And here you can see how you can incorporate both, loyalty programs as well as purchase history. And then also, all of that great information around style and fit preferences and other factors. And then rounding out here is just, build the right teams, operating model and culture as well. So prioritize technology, especially around data scientists and currently hiring practices, right? Identify those external partners to bridge those talent gaps. And then also there's an opportunity here to really center ethical and inclusive AI training models and ensure all customers are treated fairly and as individuals.
That's great. Super important section. Let's move on to this next section. So we're going to talk about social commerce, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. So here we have social commerce, and this is, I believe, our third theme. And so as consumers, online activity is split across, a broad range of platforms today, right? They're spending more of their time and attention on social media, streaming content, gaming. And when it comes to shopping, they're really discovering products in these same channels. And that's become an increasingly comfortable buying experience for consumers as well today. Companies are starting to experiment with their digital commerce experiences, and they're using this as a way to really build confidence and engage their audiences in new and exciting ways. And so the first trend we have up here is what we're calling shoppable creative. And this rise of social entertainment is really driving brands and retailers to shift their strategies. They're embracing these interactive formats that, seamlessly combine elements associated with social media, think video, chat, live streaming, with also commerce supported content. And they're looking really to connect with consumers within their preferred channels and platforms, right? And as content really dominates this online sphere, brands and platforms are taking note, and they're turning these simple discovery occasions really into very much so shoppable ones. And we're seeing how brands and retailers can really leverage established and then also emerging platforms alike to facilitate these casual interactions with their content, as well as really streamline that consumer path from inspiration directly to purchase. And so a new example of how we're seeing this come into the marketplace is from Instacart. And so they have a partnership with TikTok and Hearst Publishing, which allows a select group of TikTok food influencers to go ahead and link shoppable products and recipes to their content and their videos in their profile. And so the shoppable content will link to recipes from different Hearst publications like Delish and Country Living. TikTok users will then be able to simply press a button, add all of the required ingredients from the TikTok video directly to their Instacart cart. So a very seamless example coming to life here. And then for our second trend in this section, we're looking at how what we're calling consumer affiliates, right? And so as more consumers turn to social media to discover new products, the people they're following, from their friends to micro influencers are becoming a lot more important sources for trusted recommendations. And so the addition of new commerce tools has transformed these marketing occasions, these moments of inspiration across social media into seamless purchase experiences, but they're also allowing creators of any level to begin earning commissions and rewards for the brands and products that they're supporting. And they're also creating an even easier way for shoppers to buy with one click. And so when we think about the creator economy and setting up, how to actually create models that reward, but also, help retailers to partner with these creators. We have this great example from Jones Road Beauty, who's partnered with Bounty on a creator compensation model. And so they really took notice of consumers' interest in brand authenticity and transparency. And they're also seeing how retailers are exploring, these new influencer and ambassador programs that reward more honest reviews, right, from everyday consumers. And through its partnership with Bounty, which is an app that allows shoppers to monetize their reviews and their recommendations that they build on TikTok. And so makeup line Jones Road is rewarding select consumers for creating these video reviews about their product. And, at checkout, this is kind of how the back end of this works. At checkout, Jones Road customers receive an offer to sign up with Bounty. They create their own product reviews on their, all on their own side. And then for every 100 views that they get, they're rewarded $1. And so to compensate these creators, Jones Road sets a monthly target budget with Bounty. This can start as low as $49 and go up from there. And in the first 2 months of its partnership with Bounty, Jones Road reported that, several hundred TikToks about its products were created, and a handful of them actually gained over 1 million views. So seeing this work from their point of view.
Thanks, Lauren. Maybe it's time we talk to Jen Mullen. Jen, considering the landscape as you see it, what do you think the next evolution is for omnichannel? What's the new platforms, the new technologies that we're going to see that are going to help retailers connect with their shoppers?
Yeah, I think it is about ensuring that there's a social presence for all brands, and that brands are utilizing the ability to shop on whatever social platform the customer is on, and making it really, really simple and really easy. Most people are looking at their phones more than they used to. Most people are pre-shopping. If they are going into a brick and mortar, they're pre-shopping and looking online before they walk into the building. So it's really important that those experiences are consistent, that there's a lot of ease, and that the customer really has a frictionless moment when they're looking to buy.
Yeah, so kind of meeting the shopper at different points along that journey, ensuring consistency, kind of doing the work for them, it sounds like.
Yeah, and I think brands have to think like their shopper. Shoppers are continually evolving and, moving forward in their digital journey and in their transformational journey. And, the brand's responsibility is to keep up with that and to make sure that we are consistently evolving and meeting the customer where they are, and also making it more simple as they go, so the customer can really connect with the brand.
So as we talk about social commerce, let's turn back to Lauren Lyons. And Lauren, can you just tell us what some of the implications, imperatives are for this theme?
Yeah. So first up, as far as actions, start with why. Clarify how your brand and products can benefit from social commerce, right? Secondly, engage strategically. Provide those tools, the data and transparent influencer attribution models that really enable their success. They're going to position you as an attractive partner and also make it easier for you to measure performance, right? Third, reorient the experience around this seamless sharing, one-click transactions. And so create these simple pathways for others to promote your offering, via everything: wish list, shopping list, social sharing, email, and chat. And then lastly, just take a test and learn, rinse and repeat approach here. Leverage the data and insights provided by these social platforms to boost selling performance and also consumer engagement.
Well, thanks for that, Lauren. Let's move on to that next section. I think we're going to talk about next generation omnichannel retail now.
Yes. And so here we're looking at how, by creating this interconnected network of channels, platforms, services, and products, retailers are not only better equipped to fluidly meet these hybrid shoppers of today, but they're really future-proofing their businesses as well, as they consider how, ongoing digital transformation is going to continue to impact where consumers and retailers interact. Retailers are also taking note of the ways omnichannel continues to evolve, and they're creating new needs and areas of opportunities for retailers to really fill, via these evolved models and processes. And so first trend up here is what we're calling cross-world commerce. And in anticipation of a future where, consumers are spending even more of their time inside of these metaverse worlds, however they do manifest, companies are really experimenting right now, right, with these next-gen digital commerce experiences. And they're helping to enable shoppers to not only virtually browse and buy products within these immersive environments, but also have them delivered directly to their homes. So this is how we have this cross-world commerce coming to life, right? And as consumers' lives really transition more and more into the digital realm, these advancements in gaming, advancements in embedded commerce capabilities, and then also blockchain technology are defining new ways for consumers to shop in virtual environments as well. And so by combining aspects of discovery, education, social interaction with that ability to both buy real and digital versions of products, these experiences signal an entirely new paradigm for retail. And so an example to highlight here is coming from CVS, who has filed, they're the first major drugstore chain to file a metaverse trademark for both its pharmacy and health clinics. And the company is working to patent both its stores within the metaverse and the sale of items virtually across everything from medications, beauty, health and wellness products and services. Think nutrition and wellness support, right? And this signals a desire for the drugstore chain to expand its healthcare services from just stores and telehealth into those virtual worlds and the metaverse. And this is certainly still a test and learn area, but for any retailer considering how they show up in the metaverse, we like this case study from CVS, who may not be the first company you think of when you hear metaverse, but they're setting themselves up to definitely provide real value within these virtual spaces that are being developed right now, but they're also positioning themselves to meet consumers within new spaces down the line as well. And so for this next trend, we have what we're calling retailer as a solution provider. And so as a way to build out their own ecosystem, further differentiate themselves from competitors, seeing retailers offering value-add services by strategically partnering with other companies. They're tapping into adjacent retail sectors, and they're adopting new business models. And by taking consumers' entire lifestyle into account rather than perhaps just a single purchase, retailers are laddering up complementary services, they're doing that internally or through strategic partnerships in order to provide really a multi-pronged brand experience. And by prioritizing these continuous evolutions, retailers are giving customers new reasons, right, to engage with them, while also building new touch points across that end-to-end customer journey. And so here we wanted to call out Petco. And so beyond supplying pet owners with their product needs, the specialty retailer is expanding its offering to support both pets and their owners at every stage of the pet's life. And so the pet-centric retailers debuted a test and learn concept store format. And here shoppers are going to be easily be able to check in for vet services and grooming through Petco's virtual care offering. And this is an annual plan that has attracted over, I think, 130,000 members to date. And it includes, the routine vet exams as well as grooming sessions. The concept store is also going to provide exclusive experiences for pets and their owners as well. And so there'll be VIP events and also just other experiences for members. And then building on all of this, these stores will also feature pet nutrition centers, on-site nutrition experts. And then beyond the store, Petco is expanding its partnership with Rover, which is an online marketplace for pet care. So Petco customers are now going to be able to access everything from pet boarding services, sitting, dog walking, and daycare. And it's all provided by Rover, but you book it all through Petco's website.
So again, maybe we can build on this. We can turn to Peter Stubbs over at Profits. How's your organization thinking, and how's your organization advising when it comes to kind of the evolution of the omnichannel? We think we're seeing digital shopping, social commerce, even metaverse, and how those platforms playing out. What's the most important things that retailers should be looking at, especially when they're trying to connect to their shoppers?
Well, I hate to give you the consulting answer of it depends, but it does depend. And what we always think about at Profit is starting with the customer. So if you haven't looked at your customer experience and your journeys and how your customers are interacting with you for a while, I guarantee it's changed. And so looking at where they're shopping, what they're shopping, how they're doing it, the where, what, how, and when, how are they interacting on Facebook, on Google, in the metaverse, dare I say it, or what are they doing in retail stores, and are they still visiting malls, and what media are they consuming, and what kind of delivery do they want? Do they want to pick up in store or get delivered from home, or are they still making family trips to go to the grocery store once a week? All of those things need to be revisited, and if you're not on top of that, that's a really good place to start.
When we think about digital, physical channels, how should retailers and brands be preparing to meet the consumer tomorrow, especially when we think about these channels, these environments?
Yeah, and of course, Piers, you can't get away from talking about new channels with people talking about the metaverse and what they should be doing. And that's what we're hearing a lot from our clients at the moment. In some ways, it makes me chuckle because, we're at that stage where there's an awful lot of hype about it. And I kind of remember being in that situation with mobile and for many years saying, this is the year of mobile. And then it wasn't. And I think we're a bit like that with the metaverse at the moment. But people are starting to make moves into the space. And as you can see, obviously Meta and organizations like that are making huge investments. So we're starting to talk to clients now about, all right, what are the possible implications of not just the metaverse, but Web 3.0 and currencies and these digital environments? And then what could be the implications of those, and what could be the first moves? What kind of exploratory things should we be doing as brands? And is that about creating a presence, or just thinking about protecting our IP and our brand value and how we're going to show up in those environments?
That's great. It's really interesting. Maybe this time to go back to Myron and ask you Myron, about what do you think the greatest challenges are facing retail transformation today? What do we need to think about to be successful and to really kind of scale our models?
And so the customer it remains is still the center of the bullseye. Their needs, purposes, and concerns are rapidly changing on a daily basis. What was good for today becomes table stake. And so, how do you get ahead of kind of those needs, purposes, and concerns is really the greatest challenge. And to stay relevant and stay, anticipate their needs and concerns. And for me, kind of my point of view is it's not any one singular challenge. It is the nested function of challenges that becomes, the organizational imperative. How do I think about personalization? How do I think about omni? How do I think about social? And it's that sort of a holistic aperture that becomes the sense of urgency. How do I meet the customers on their terms as they're engaging across all these sort of new touch points?
Very insightful. Thanks so much. So let's turn again to Jen Mullen. Hey, Jen, I wonder if you can think about sharing what you see as the greatest challenges facing retail transformation today. What do retailers need to think about to successfully can implement and transform their retail models, their retail initiatives?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is that brands can change faster than people, and brand missions and brand visions can evolve very fast, but you have to have the right people to do it. And I think one of the biggest challenges facing transformation is our inability to move past what we used to do and to look at whether it's an organizational structure, whether it's our digital page, whether it's our store designs, or even the teams that we have in our stores. The biggest challenge is that we are very comfortable with the way that we used to operate our businesses. And so really transformation has to start at the top. And it has to start with the ability and the willingness to look at every part of your organization and to make massive and drastic changes in order for us to evolve to where the customer is going.
Well, thanks for all those insights. Let's turn to Lauren again. Hey, Lauren, let's talk about the implications for this section.
Yeah, so when we're thinking about next-gen omnichannel, right? First up is see yourself in your customer's eyes. By adopting this holistic customer-first lens and examining the life cycle of current customers, as well as untapped segments, right, to determine what additional needs you can fulfill profitably. Build the business case and then pilot. So design the pilot programs and proofs of concept before scaling these new offerings or opening new distribution channels. So again, with the test and learn approach here, get ready to move into the metaverse. Task innovation teams to really explore these cross-world commerce initiatives. And that means, identifying the right virtual worlds for your brand, the right opportunities on maybe existing platforms. And then also, what's important right now is thinking about how you go about securing rights and trademarks that you may want down the road. And then lastly here, just preparing your organization for change. Assess the current capabilities that you have, seek executive input early and often, and then also, identify those external sources for necessary skills and allocate resources accordingly.
Oh, so Lauren, let's move on to the final section. Let's talk about environmental and social impact and that effect on retail transformation.
Yes. So, across commerce landscapes, businesses are re-examining their end-to-end offering from sourcing and product design to internal representation and logistics in order to really embed measurable social impact at every stage. And companies are also developing new business models and platforms to empower customers and partners to get involved and drive collective action. And so beyond creating positive change, these initiatives must now really be viewed as a true difference maker, right? As we enter an even more competitive marketplace. And when effectively implemented, these efforts can enable operational efficiencies, but also open the door to, new revenue streams, create value for consumers, their companies, and then the planet as well. And so our first trend we're bringing up here is what we're calling full life cycle design. And so as conversations around sustainability, eco-conscious practices, and climate continue to grow in importance, leading brands and retailers are considering that post-purchase impact of their products. And particularly within hard good categories like home furnishings, consumer electronics, the gated linear approach that focused on single ownership had cost prohibitive repairs, and then also planned obsolescence, right, is being replaced by a more open and modular and circular approach. So under this new circular model, companies are really considering their product designs and the aftermarket processes to empower owners to fix, upgrade, or repurpose their products for a lifetime of use rather than just single use. And a great example of a retailer really owning this is coming from IKEA. And this is part of an overall commitment to more sustainable policies and practices. And IKEA is rolling out a series of initiatives that all have to do around reduce waste, encourage environmental friendly practices as well. And so alongside their buyback program, IKEA is now allowing customers to purchase spare furniture parts on an ongoing basis. Rather than have to throw away broken furniture and items, they can now access disassembly guides as well for 6 of IKEA's most popular items. And this is all in an effort to encourage the acts of like reuse, donation, or reselling. And so in addition to spare parts and assembly, the company is also helping its customers to upcycle different products in creative ways. And so the brand released what it's calling repurposeful instructions. And this is a manual that details both beginner, immediate, and advanced DIY projects, where it's helping customers to give a second life to their products that they otherwise would have just thrown away. And so different products in this initiative include the simple turning a candle holder into a planter, to building a hanging garden with the brand's signature bags, and then also transforming a cabinet into a beehive for the more adventurous. And then rounding us out, our last trend within this report and presentation is what we call community resourcing. And so beyond offering products, there is a need across communities for retailers and brands to provide services at a local level that really address personal consumer growth as well as systemic change. And as they look to really strengthen the community ties, support their customers, retailers and brands are building greater trust and buy-in by not only committing to inclusive and equitable pledges, which is great, but they're integrating these initiatives into their business model on a permanent basis. And that's where we're seeing a lot of newness here and a lot of innovation. So by tying those social impact initiatives to the revenue outlook, retailers can not only meet real needs, but they're also ensuring that these initiatives are sustainable and continue to grow and affect change. And so an excellent example of this is from Sephora and their Accelerate program. Back in 2020, Sephora joined the 15% pledge, and that was to dedicate 15% of their shelf space to Black-owned brands. And they updated their accelerator program to reflect a focus on empowering people of color. This now includes all BIPOC founders as well as of 2021 in this incubator program. And by the end of 2021, Sephora had actually doubled its Black-owned beauty offering to reach the 15% pledge. So they started their journey with 8 Black-owned brands. They have since launched over 14 brands founded by women of color. And through this incubator initiative, participants are receiving, guidance that is central to their business, such as education, mentorship, merchandising support, funding, and investor connections. So it definitely goes beyond step one, right? And at the final stages of the program, the founders have this opportunity to pitch to be launched in Sephora stores. And, so far, a lot of these brands from the program are launching with huge success. As an example, Topicals, it's a skincare brand that focuses on things like eczema, sold out within 48 hours of launching at Sephora. So they're definitely curating and then launching and then helping these founders in a big way.
So let's turn to Viva again. Viva, hey, it seems to me that companies who have spent time already thinking about ESG initiatives have really kind of got themselves into a place which gives them some readiness, because as you know, things change, issues change, and the discussion changes. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think that's absolutely true. And I think that's part of the benefit of making sure that your purpose isn't something that just lives on paper, but it's actually something that drives your business strategy and that everyone understands and can use as a litmus test for what really aligns with our purpose and what does not. And they're able to, therefore, you can push decision-making down within the organization so that people are always acting in a way that's consistent with your purpose.
So Jen, you were talking a little bit earlier about sustainability, social impact, and pretty much in terms of the initiatives, the outward-facing initiatives. Considering sustainability from both an operational point of view as well as ESG initiatives, how should brands leverage sustainability as a transformation driver across their own teams and across their organization?
Yeah, I think you have to it starts with the team that you have, and you have to have a team that really believes in it. And it has to be something that's part of the brand's mission and ambition. And once you can do that, I think we can create an environment where it's part of the brand's DNA. People are more likely to care about sustainability now and really consider the availability of merchandise that is created sustainably versus the way that we used to do things. And most consumers want to purchase from brands that have a sustainability mission. And most retailers do have to have that focus and that purpose. Customers want it all. They want great merchandise, but they also want great sustainability in there too.
I mean, it seems to me that at the core is the team, and it's the team that's going to be able to drive all of this sort of transformation when it comes to ESG and other retail transformation initiatives.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have to start with a team who believes in the mission that you want to create for your customer. And just as our customer is evolving, our teams are evolving. And it's important to look to brands who have built teams who believe in sustainability and in ESG, and really looking for leaders for brands who really have a point of view about community action, about community resourcing, and about social impact initiatives.
When we look at the marketplace, how do you see retailers and brands addressing social impact, sustainability beyond product development?
Yeah, I think the ones that are doing it well are really looking beyond the purchase. So it's not enough to just sell products anymore. I think you have to offer services to the customer to not only make their purchase matter, but really ensure that you're getting a brand connection with the customer, whether it's offering a recycle or upcycle program, resale options, maybe repair options, tailoring to adapt to body changes, or even a try before you buy. It's important that these services for the client, you have those services for clients, and you're ensuring sustainability is part of your brand mission and statement. I think brands who can operate more sustainable will be the key for the future. So I was thinking about it, and I recently went to book a flight. And when I was booking the flight, I could see the emissions on the flight in comparison to the other flights of the same route. And that matters to me. So I actually bought the flight that had the decreased emissions even though it was a tad more expensive. But it's also not a single effort. So in the products that brands produce or the services they provide, I think brands also have to look at their own physical spaces. So offices, factories, operating facilities, to make sure that they're not only producing sustainable merchandise, but also existing in a more sustainable way. And then in regard to social impact, I think consumers, more specifically millennials, want to connect with brands who have similar values to them, and who choose a brand who they can connect with socially versus one that they don't. So brands need to make a social impact part of their brand mission statement. It has to be authentic, has to be transparent, it has to be consistent. So brands need to know who their core customer is, and their ESG purpose needs to line up with their core and not alienate the same people they're trying to connect with. I think we've all seen examples of brands who've taken a stand socially, but don't necessarily walk the talk. So it's not just about the message, but the bigger picture, how you treat employees, how you treat customers, your sustainability factor, and other things. So, a lot of brands are creating D&I teams, social impact teams, but not allowing those teams the resources or the space to do the work. So in order for them to make an impact, it has to be done the right way. So authenticity in social impact is really the key to enhancing or devaluing your brand.
It can be a brave brand that can consider doing these efforts, because I think, brands, people are complicated things, and none of us are perfect. And when you become transparent, begin to take initiatives, you can't totally, you're going to find problems in the or issues within the supply chain, or issues with your culture. And I've spoken to various executives, and some of them say it's a good thing. Embrace and have a conversation around these things rather than try to hide these things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you said, transparency opens the door to really critiquing everything. And so if you're really looking to make a change, you have to be transparent, and then you have to allow time to correct the things that actually might not be working.
Well, Lauren, as we come to an end of this session, let's talk about the implications and imperatives for this environmental and social impact section.
Yeah, so first up, link ESG to purpose. Designing ESG efforts and expand that traditional CSR efforts in a way that directly align with your core purpose and your business strategy. Second, operationalize your commitments. Take meaningful steps to reduce waste and carbon outputs. Be transparent and accountable when you're measuring and communicating your results and the effects of your ESG efforts. That can be really impactful and really empowering to consumers who are contributing to this. And then also consider creating aftermarket or upcycling programs and other sustainable circular processes, right? And then lastly, don't overlook the growth opportunities. Assess the impact of ESG across the customer life cycle, define its link to growth strategies, treat refurbishment and upgrade moments as additional brand touch points, and also opportunities to create stickiness going forward.
So as we kind of come to a close of this fascinating, engaging, super informative session, I'm sure you'd agree, maybe we'll turn to Peter Stubbs at Profit one last time. Peter, as we think about all these opportunities, the kind of amazing opportunities to transform a business, how do we prioritize? How do we choose where to go first?
Yeah, I think there's three things we can do to help prioritize. One is that reassertion of what's most important to our customers, whether you need to do more work to explore that and understand that, but aligning your priorities about what do our customers really need right now and today, and where are their demands, and are we delivering those things? The second thing I would think about is how do we make sure that, especially as we come into this economic climate, that some of our investments around new things, new transformations don't slide off the bottom of the planning table, that they go to the cutting room floor, because as retailers, we generally know how much it's going to cost us to open a new store or to drive more traffic and through paid media. But often innovation we can't quantify. And so when times get harder, we stop doing that. And so thinking about how we change the way we think about risk, and that might be using mechanisms like having an entrepreneur in residence being more involved in some of your board conversations, or just simply taking some of the proportion for next year's planning budget, and we're coming up to that period now, and allocating that to kind of new innovations and experimentation, regardless of what our quarterly headwinds happen to us over the next couple of months. And then the last thing I would say is what we always talk about as moving at two speeds, which is keep focusing on short-term revenue opportunities where you can do fun and exciting experimentation, but at a scale that it's going to prove results, but it's going to bring us in revenue. At the same time as still focusing on the longer term, building the capabilities we need to transform, whether that's becoming more digital capabilities or greater omnichannel capabilities. Those things take time. So continue with those whilst, and that's a slower build. And then in the short term, run at that fast pace that's still trying to chase down short-term opportunities.
That's great. I mean, ultimately, I kind of feel at the center of all this, we shouldn't forget the customer. Just seems to be that sort of North Star.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's super exciting we've just had in the last couple of years is actually when we talk about our value propositions in organizations, and it ties back to some of the stuff we've been talking about with ESG, actually delivering our corporate brand promise and what we stand for our customers, and making sure we're doing that is as important as doing that for our employers as well, which is why at Profit, we actually talk about transformation as being not just customer-centered, but human-centered.
That's great. Great to hear that. Thank you. Well, thank you, Lauren. Thank you for your contribution and setting the framework and helping us understand the impact of this work. Thank you to the experts who came along. It was great to kind of get those insights and help kind of build on the themes we were talking about. And thank you for Profit for supporting us and underwriting this report. And this report is available to download for free from the page that's on the URL right now and is in the chat as well. So appreciate everyone's time. Thanks for the contribution today as part of the webinar, and appreciate all the support and appreciate everyone being part of this.